What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love After Lockup, Season 5, Episode 35, True or False. Let's get into Shanta and True. So their segment starts where it ended last week, where once again, True takes off with his sister, leaves Shanta behind. I don't remember if he told her where he was going. I think he did. I think he did tell her that he was going to the gym. But anyway, the sister comes, picks him up, takes him to the gym for them to go work out, which is halfway true. Yes, they did go to the gym, they did work out, but in actuality, the sister wanted him to meet one of her friends. So the friend shows up at the gym. We find out that True and this particular friend, her name is Tisha, they used to communicate while he was incarcerated. So they kind of had a thing going. They had never met in person, but they were talking while he was in prison. And then all of a sudden, she ghosted him. She disappeared on him. And that really said a lot about True. The fact that, they're vibing 1 minute and the next minute the girl just vanishes. So he really doesn't trust her. He doesn't know if she's going to, skip out on him again. So he's really not trying to get too close to her or too cool with her. But the girl was trying hard. She was trying really hard to try to get True all up on her because she was super flirty with him. She apologized for ghosting him, but she was very, very flirty, very, very handsy. And every time she tried to get physically close to him and every time she tried to put her hands on him, True would push her back. And he said that he has a whole nother situation going on with somebody else and that he really loves this girl that he's with, referring to Shanta. So when he said that, I was like, good for you, True. You're being true to your girl. You're pushing this other girl away. You let her know what's up, that you're involved with somebody else, and you have feelings with this somebody else. So I was like, good for you, True. But what I don't understand is why does he treat Shanta so bad when he's not around her, like this particular moment, he talks about how he loves her and they're involved with each other. But then when he's with her, it's like contention. Like, why do you not respond to her texts? Why don't you call her and, just check in with her now and then if you're going to be gone all day? Like, why are you ignoring her and making her feel bad? But then you tell this other woman how much you love her. So I don't understand his behavior. So Shanta was reaching out to him, texting him, and he wasn't responding. Now, Shanta doesn't understand why True is spending so much time with his sister because True had told her that he really didn't get down with his family like that him and his family were really not that close. We've only seen his mom once, I think, so far. So, but ever since he's been out, it's almost as if he was spending more time with his sister than he was with her. So he comes back to the rental, and Shanta tells him that she's got to go back home. She's busy packing her suitcases, and she's like, "Yeah, I got to get back. I got to get back to my kids, my grandkids." And True tells us in his confessional that Shanta lived her life. I think she's in her mid or late 30s. So he talks about how she's lived her life, she's had her fun. Now she's ready to settle down, but he's not. And he says, why can't she see that I want to live my life? I've been locked up over 10 years. Now I'm out and I want to experience things. I want to do my own thing. I want to have a good time. I'm not trying to be settled down. Okay, granted, that's what I think. That's what I believe. I'm like, if someone has been locked up for so long, once they are released, they ain't got no business being in a relationship, in a committed relationship with somebody that they met while they were incarcerated. Like I said, if y'all already had something going on before he even went to prison, like if an inmate already has a marriage or a very, very committed relationship with somebody before they go in, then I would expect that once they come out, they resume that relationship. But if you meet somebody while you are in prison and you've been in prison for a very long time, I think it's just um it's unrealistic to expect all of those feelings that were developing behind bars to still be there once you come out. I think it's just unrealistic to expect that the relationship will survive past the prison walls. So when he talks about how he wants to live his life, he wants to explore things, he doesn't want to be, just sitting at home all the time with her. um I was like, I agree with you, True. That the way you're feeling is totally normal. But why did you propose to her? while you were in prison. We know why, because you're trying to, you want to keep the money flow going. You want this woman to buy you things and all that stuff. We get it. But seriously, now you're here complaining about, I'm tied down. I don't want to be tied down. She don't want to do nothing. She just wants us to be laid up in the house all day. Then why did you propose to her? Why did you propose to her? Now, True will say, in his defense, he'll say, hey, I didn't know she was like this, because she never came to the prison to see him. So they really did not develop a in-person relationship. So he's going to be like, I didn't know she was like this. If I would have known that she was just a homebody, it wouldn't have gotten as far as it got. But you shouldn't have proposed to her. Everybody knows that you don't really know somebody while y'all are carrying on in prison. You really don't get to know somebody until you're out. Why would you propose to her? So that's what he tells us in his confessional, that I'm not I'm not really about being settled down right now. I want to live my life. Okay, fine. So he tries to tell her directly. He's like, look, it seems like we're living two different lives. You want to be one way, I'm completely the opposite. And I just don't want you to think that I was just using you, but you were. I don't want you to think that I was just using you. And as he's trying to explain, and True is always trying to communicate, I have to give him that. He's always trying to talk to her, he's always trying to explain himself to her, and she never wants to listen. Whenever he wants to have a heart-to-heart conversation with her, she walks away, like she did in this particular scene. So he's trying to explain to her, look, I think we're living two different lives. And she just gets up and she walks away. I don't know if she thinks that, like this is like a breakup speech that he's trying to do and she just doesn't want to hear it. And that's why she runs away. Or if she's afraid of, being vulnerable with him, like the way he's trying to be vulnerable with her. I don't know what the hell is going on, but every time he tries to have a serious conversation with her, she gets up and she walks away. It's almost like he's holding up a mirror for her to really look at herself and examine what she did and examine the decisions that she made, and to come to the conclusion that being with this man may not have been her best decision in life. So she gets up, she walks away. He's following around the house, and he tries to give her $1,000 in cash and tells her, look, this is, I'm going to pay you back this money for all the clothes that you bought me. And she doesn't want to take it. We all know that she spent way more than that, but at least he's showing some attempt of trying to make things right. And so, but I think that the money probably insulted her even more, because she was buying him clothes and spending money on him, out of, because she loved him. And he's giving her the money back, kind of like, I don't know, like, you really didn't have to, so I'm going to pay you this money back. But anyways, he tries to give her back the money, and she is not accepting it at all. She throws it on the bed, and he tells her, then he starts this thing. I didn't understand why he was telling her these things. He tells her that he feels like she tricked him, because he says that, you presented yourself, that you were fun, that you were outgoing, and you're not that. So I feel like you tricked me. And he also tells her that he feels like she used him just to build herself up. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? I wish the producers would have asked him in his confessional, what did you mean when you told her that she used you to build herself up? Like, because you were showering her with compliments, or because you were giving her the time of day, it kind of made an old fuddy-duddy feel, beautiful again, feel wanted, feel desired. And so this kind of helped her gain some confidence in herself. Like, what did you mean when you say that she used you to build herself up? Then he tells her that she played him. And she was done. At this point, she was done. She was in her car, and she reversed that car, and she was out of there. So she drives off, a little bit, and then she stops her car, and she just has a complete breakdown. She's crying. She's talking about how she feels so stupid, because everybody was telling her this was not a good idea. She said that she's going to be going back to a house that she bought for the two of them. That's what she said. A house that I bought for us, and I'm gonna be going back to a house that I bought for us with nothing to show. She says, I have no job, have nothing. I've given up everything for him. So I'm just like, well, I don't know what to say. This, like, I don't know what to, prison relationships. are not real relationships. You have to wait for the person to come out before you start investing so much. Now, if you want to be pen pals or friends or whatever, you want to communicate, fine, do all of that. Do all the communication, plant the seeds if you want to, something that might grow into a real relationship. But to put so much money into someone who's incarcerated, to put so much of your emotions, to give so much of your heart to someone who's incarcerated, not a good idea. Wait until they come out when y'all can be around each other and really figure out if there's something there or not. But yeah, she says she feels really stupid. She feels bamboozled. She feels tricked by this man because he broke off the engagement. He told her that he wanted them to see other people. He didn't want to be exclusive or monogamous with her. And he's out all day, every day with his damn sister, not spending enough time with her. But then again, like when he was with that girl Tisha at the gym, he wasn't trying to have nothing to do with her because he told Tisha, look, I have a girl and I love her. So I don't know if he was saying that because he just wanted to get Tisha off his back because he really wasn't feeling her. And he just doesn't want to tell her, look, I'm not feeling you. I'm not attracted to you. You're not my type. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, moving on to Keith and Leticia. So Leticia confronts the paralegal that had told her that Keith was going to be released any day now because of this new law that went retroactive and was going to allow people who had committed certain crimes during a certain time to have an early release because they should never have been incarcerated or their sentences should never have been as lengthy as they were. So when she called the prison, on last week's episode, the prison told her, "We don't know what the hell you're talking about. Keith is here, and Keith is going to remain here until until his scheduled release. He's not coming out early." So now she was on the warpath, trying to find this paralegal and confront him and be like, "Why did you tell me that my man was coming out when the prison have no information about this whatsoever?" So she gets to the man's office. And when I saw the paralegal, I was like, girl, how did you get bamboozled by him? But anyway, she gets to the man's office. She tells him what the prison told her. And he was basically like, well, they're wrong. Yeah, they're wrong. I know what I'm talking about. I know this. This is what I do every day, all day. And then she tells him, I did my research on you and I saw that you yourself, you have a prison record. You were in prison. And he says to him, well, that's, he was kind of like telling her, that's why I'm good at what I do. Because I've been there. I've been where these people have been. I've lived that life. I understand people like your husband. And he was trying to make it seem like him being in prison was actually an advantage. No, honey, an advantage would be you having a law degree and really knowing and understanding the law and knowing how to practice the law. But anyway, so he tells her that, other, like if these public defenders, they don't really have time. They just look at, the first couple of pages of the file. And if they feel like it's not a good case, they just, push it to the side. They don't really do any deep investigation, any thorough research like the way I do, because I know where these men have been. I've been there once before. He says, I got myself out of prison. And Leticia does admit that she heard about this paralegal through word of mouth, and he was highly recommended because he had released other people. He had helped release other people. So she felt good about hiring this man. But the fact that he misunderstood or misinterpreted what the law was that could have helped Keith, that is really pissing her off because now she feels stupid because she's gotten her daughter all worked up. She got her daughter all, worked up because she wants her daddy to come home, her youngest daughter, and it's not Keith's biological child, but this is the only father figure she's known. Her youngest daughter was looking forward to Keith coming home. She had made this big party for his family members to announce to them that Keith is going to be coming home a little bit sooner than we expected because of this new law. So she feels like she made herself look stupid in front of all these people because she relied on someone who is not an attorney. Now, he's a paralegal, right? And he's taking people's money to work their cases. But either he's breaking the law by not well, they know he's a paralegal, so he's not presenting himself as an attorney, but he could be breaking the law for doing the work of an attorney and accepting payment for that. Because what lawyer is he working? If you're a paralegal, you're working under an attorney. What attorney are you working under? And if you're working under an attorney, how come Leticia hasn't had a conversation with that attorney? So I feel like whatever, maybe things are different in Iowa, but whatever this guy is doing to me seems extremely shady, and it seems downright criminal that you are taking on people's cases. But I guess I don't know. You're taking on people's cases. You're interpreting the law for your clients. You're taking money from your clients to do the kind of thing that I would think a lawyer needs to be doing. So Leticia goes out with her girlfriend afterwards, and she tells her girlfriend, like, "Oh, I feel so stupid because Keith may not be coming home early, and I gave this man my money, and I was misled, and all this and that." So then she tells her friend, "I think I'm going to have to hire an actual attorney." Yes, you will. Yes, you will, Leticia. You're going to have to hire an actual attorney. We know that you don't want to spend the money. I don't know if you got the money like that or not. You own your own business. I would think that, your business is doing somewhat well enough where you can hire an attorney. But, things are real shady over there in Iowa because Leticia herself was kind of doing unethical things when she hired Keith to work as her office manager from prison, from behind bars. He worked as her office manager until her lawyer told her, "No, ma'am, you cannot have a convicted felon working in your office because she's a CPA, because you're dealing with people's money. Okay, you can't do that. You can't have a convicted felon up there handling people's money. No." So she herself doesn't understand the law, because I'm thinking that should be CPA 101, that you can't have convicted felons working for you, when you're handling other people's money. So I don't know what the hell's going on over there in Iowa, but I have a feeling that Keith will be released soon, because otherwise I don't think they would be featured on this season's Love After Lockup, because this whole entire show is about the relationships that continue after the inmate is released. Okay, moving on from there, let's talk about Zariah and Troy. Okay, this was somewhat interesting. So Troy and his mom, they get to the house, and Zariah tells us that she herself has lived with Troy's mother before, but Troy's mother ended up kicking her out. So Troy, we also find out in this episode that Troy has a child with his ex by the name of Yana. Now, Yana doesn't like Zariah or Zariah's relationship with Troy, and Troy's mom doesn't like Zariah either. She's calling her all kinds of B's and H's. She cannot stand this woman, even though this is the mother of her grandchild. I'm not exactly sure why the mother herself doesn't like Yana, but I understand why Zariah might not be really feeling the ex, because she thinks that the ex is jealous of her relationship with Troy. So she still believes also that the ex is in love with Troy, even though she's herself is in another relationship. Zariah thinks that the ex still has feelings for Troy. So they're having dinner, and the mom kept on bringing up Zariah, and it was really, kept on bringing up Yana, and it was really pissing off Zariah that the mom kept on talking about Troy's ex. So after dinner, they're getting ready for bed, and Zariah is in a funky mood, and Troy is like, "What's wrong? What's going on?" And she tells him, "Look, I got sick and tired of your mom constantly bringing up your ex." So then she ends up making him sleep on the couch. And I'm like, what did he do wrong? I guess she was upset that he didn't shut his mother up. But I'm pretty sure she understands why he wouldn't. That's his mom. But I don't know. She was pissed off at him, even though it was the mother talking about the ex. So she makes him sleep on the couch. So he's sleeping on the couch, and then across from him, his mom is sleeping on the couch. Then, which made me ask the question, why is the mother living with Zariah and Troy just for her to sleep on their couch? I don't understand. Why is the mom living with them, period? Moving on. So the next day, the mother tells Troy, "I see that Zariah was really upset last night, so you need to go try to talk to her." So he goes to the room, he talks to her, they talk it out. She apologizes for making him sleep on the couch. So then they're back on good terms again. So this is the day that they're supposed to be going to church, and Troy's mom is supposed to meet Zariah's parents. And Zariah is extremely nervous about this because Troy's mom is a whole character. She's popping edibles before church. She's talking about how she's going to be going to church with no panties on. Um, she's a hot mess. She cusses like a sailor. she's got a lot going on. She's a character. She's funny. She's entertaining to watch. But Zariah is a little bit worried about what her parents are going to think. So they get to the church. They walk in, and this is her parents' church, right? They walk in. I don't know if this scene was only set up for the show because it was supposed to be a Sunday, okay, but there was nobody there. There was probably 10 people there at most, and half of them are probably related to Zariah and her parents. The church was extremely empty. It was very sparse in there. So I don't know if this was just for a scene or if this is what it's like every Sunday. Because if this is what it's like every Sunday, I'm gonna need her parents to try to go into another line of business because this ain't working. So they're sitting in the church in the front row. Her father's preaching, and her mom, Troy's mom, cannot stop laughing. She is laughing so hard. She says that Zariah's dad is like a comedian. Everything he says, she found so funny because the woman was high as a kite. Okay, the woman was high as a kite on those edibles. So Zariah's feeling very embarrassed. She's trying to get the woman to calm the hell down. And it was a very funny scene. Okay, it was a very funny scene. But yeah, Troy's mom, yeah, she's a hot mess. But I know we're going to be seeing a whole lot more of her because of the fact that she's so entertaining. Let's move on to Kim and Joey. It's Christmas Day. The boys wake up and they start opening up their presents. They bought a ton of toys for these two little boys. A lot of toys. That whole entire living room was like covered in toys. So the boys are opening up their presents. They're really, really excited. They take Christmas pictures as a family. And the boys are just really happy that they got all these toys. They're being typical little children. They're very young, okay? They're probably like, I don't know, 2 and 4 or 3 and 5. They're very small boys, but Joey couldn't handle it. It was too much for him. So he tells her that he's going to step out. Now, oh, I forgot the best part, y'all. Kim bought him a Christmas present as well. So they walk outside and there's a car in a with a red bow on top. This woman bought this man a damn car. He just got out of prison, hasn't proven himself to be worthy as a boyfriend, as a husband, as a father to her kids, hasn't proven a damn thing about himself. And she already bought this man a car. I have questions. And she was just complaining about how much money he spent on her card for the boys' toys, but she felt like there was nothing wrong with her buying him a car. Hopefully later on in the season, she'll clarify that for us. And maybe she'll say something like it was already my car and I just went ahead and gave it to him because I paid it off already and I don't need two cars. Or come up with a reasonable excuse or reason of why this man is driving around in a car that she bought. Moving on. So he tells her, I'm going to step out for a minute. She's like, where are you going? Where are you going? First of all, he started texting. So he was texting. And she asked him, who are you texting? And he said, nobody. And that pissed her off. Because obviously you're texting somebody. You're not texting yourself. So then he gets up. He's like, well, I'll be back. And she's like, where are you going? He won't tell her. When are you coming back? He won't tell her. Who are you going to go see? He won't tell her. And he's gone. And so I just assumed that he was going to go get her Christmas present, even though I don't know where he would have gotten the money because he just came out of prison. But I was assuming that he was going to go get her something. But we just see him driving around and he's like showing us the places where his friends got killed. He had a best friend that died in a horrible car accident. And so he was talking about that. And I'm like, okay, where is this going? Where are you going, man? Where are you going? Because I know you're just not walking out of this home of, walking out on your new family on Christmas Day just to drive around randomly. He said that the kids was a little bit overwhelming for him. The kids were loud, they were really hyper, and he just couldn't take it. But you're daddy now. You're daddy. You're going to have to take it every single day. You can't daddies don't just get up and walk away because, their kids are too rowdy. You got to figure out how to calm them the hell down. Okay, you're daddy now. You got to figure this stuff out. And the solution definitely is not just walking out on your family on Christmas Day. Moving on to Hope and Arthur. Arthur and his mom are spending some time together because remember that morning while Hope was making breakfast, he was making arrangements to go spend time with his mom. And Hope was upset about that because she does not want his mother to influence him to go back to Las Vegas with her. And so she's worried that if he's out with his mom is going to find a way to convince him to go back home with her. So he's out with his mom, they're eating ice cream, and they're talking about their relationship and the history of how everything went down. And he tells a very heartfelt story, because he says the day that he got in trouble, that landed him in prison for like 7 years, that particular day, his mom wanted him to come home and do the laundry, and he didn't. Instead, he ran around with his friends, got in trouble, ended up with a 7 year prison sentence. And he tells his mom, as he's crying, he tells his mom that he thinks about that day every single day. Every day that he was in prison for the past 7 years, he thought about that day, thinking about how if he only would have listened to his mother and gone home to do the laundry, he never would have ended up in prison. But it is what it is. So his mom tells him, you need to come back home to your family, your siblings. There's nothing here for you in Dallas. And he's like, I have hope here in Dallas. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to be with my girl. And that's just that. So he puts his foot down with his mom and tells her, this is what I'm going to do. I'm staying here with my girl. I'm not going back home. He tells us in his confessional that, my mom wants it to go back to the way it used to be. Like, she wants to go back in time to kind of rewrite history and really be there for me like the way she was never there for me before. But we can't go back in time. We can't rewind the clock. We have to move forward. And he says, I'm not the person that I used to be back then. And that's where she's expecting, and that's where she's hoping that, things can go back the way they used to be, and she gets like a redo, to be a better mom to me. But no, we can't do that. We got to move forward. So he tells his mom, no, I'm not going to go back to Las Vegas. So then he goes back home and he walks into the apartment, and now it's midnight. And I'm like, okay, all we saw was y'all eating ice cream. How did the whole day just go by like that? So Hope is upset because he's coming home so late at night. And remember, the last time she saw him, she was making him breakfast in the morning. They had just gotten up, and now it's midnight. And she's like, oh, hell no, you just can't be rolling up in here at midnight like nothing happened. And he was like, well, I was with my mom, spending time with my mom. And she's like, I don't give a damn, because I was trying to call you, you didn't respond. What is it about these men on Love After Lockup? They don't want to respond to their text messages or when their women are calling them. She's like, I've been calling you. You haven't been answering, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, whatever. I don't understand how, 12 hours, like 8, 12, 16 hours went by like that. And all we saw was him just eating ice cream with his mom. Like, what the hell happened? What do they do all damn day? Moving on to Julian and Christine. So they're waking up together after their first night together. Of course, they talk about the sex that they had the night before. Of course, this is Love After Lockup. The sex was wonderful. It was mind-blowing. What did she say? Christine said that it was perfect and beautiful. And they did it 4 times in one night. Okay, so Julian says that he does not want his family to know that he is dating Christine. I think he said they know of her, but they don't really know what's going on between him and Christine. And Christine feels some kind of way about this. She feels like, well, he must be ashamed of me if he doesn't want his family to know that he's dating me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it is. Yeah. Uh, you have an addiction issue. You ain't got your kids. Your kids got taken away from you. Um, yeah, he's a very, like, straight laced, go by the book, I follow the rules kind of guy. And for his family to know that he's dating someone who was in prison, who robbed a bank, is addicted to drugs, doesn't have her children, he's ashamed of you. For whatever reason, he's attracted to you. But yeah, he's probably is ashamed of you. He doesn't want his family to know, how deep he is with you. So they go by her mother's house. And I thought we were going to meet the mom, but she was like, I'm not talking to her. I don't want nothing to do with her because, she took my kid away. Her oldest child, her mother took custody of her oldest child. And the way she did that was by telling the authorities, the courts or the police or whoever, or CPS, I think, that she was on drugs. And so when she did that, when the mom reported her as being a drug addict, they took her kid, and her mom ended up getting custody. And so she thinks that that's a very backhanded, very dirty thing that her mom did to her by taking her child away like that. So she doesn't want nothing to do with her mom, but she has a present for her son, and they leave the present on her mother's doorstep, and then they leave Well, he takes the present, he puts the present on the doorstep, and then they leave. And I was like, why didn't you see your kid again? I don't understand what happened. And as they're driving away, she's crying and she's like, I just want to see my son. I want to see my son because I haven't seen him in 7 months. And now I'm going to be moving hundreds of miles away from him. But, he's here and I can't even see him. Why can't you see your son? What was the reason for you not seeing your son? I don't understand. Because I would have been like, even if I did not like my mom and I was really upset with what she did by taking my kid away, I'm going to see my child. I'm going to be like, I ain't trying to talk to you right now. Step out the way. I'm here to see my child. I don't understand why she didn't try to see her son. I don't know. And then her twins are in a whole nother state. They're in Ohio. So I don't know how I don't, Julian, this is what you want? You want these kind of problems? Because her problems are going to become your problems. So, I mean, y'all, I don't know what it is about Christine that's got Julian's nose wide open, but he feels like it's worth it. It's worth all this headache. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. Or maybe because of her problems, he feels like she's gonna need me. She's gonna want me. It's a higher chance of her staying with me because I can help her with her issues. Maybe that he feels like this is the only way he can keep a woman is if he's with a woman who's got a lot of problems and needs help. I don't know. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it, y'all. I gotta cut this short because my cat is super loud. I appreciate it. On your way out, do not forget to rate the video. If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel, and I will most definitely talk to you later. Bye.